The alien city was full of life. Creatures from different worlds moved through its metal streets. Glowing signs floated above shops. Hovercars flew past tall towers. But something felt off today. There was a strange silence in the crowd, like a storm waiting to hit. Then a ship appeared in the sky, small, black, and silent. It didn't belong to any known species. People watched as it landed in the center of the main square. The doors hissed open. A figure stepped out. It was a human. No armor, no weapons. Just calm eyes and steady steps. Predators noticed first. The hunters of the galaxy, tall, scaled, and deadly. One of them stood near the crowd. His name was Goran. He had fought in 3 wars and killed dozens. His hand slowly moved to the blade on his belt. "He's just one," someone whispered. "But he's human." Another said quietly. Goran narrowed his eyes. The human didn't even look scared. He was walking through a city filled with killers, yet he walked like he was the one in control. Goran stepped forward, blocking the human's path. "Name yourself," he growled. The human looked up. "Aaron, Earth representative, you're alone." Goran asked, blade half-drawn. Aaron nodded. "That's enough." That answer made Goran's grip tighten. "You think we fear you?" Aaron didn't reply. He just looked into Goran's eyes. No anger, no fear, just silence. For a moment, Goran felt something cold run down his back. That stare reminded him of something. An old story. A nightmare from a battlefield long ago. He had once seen a human soldier look just like that before destroying an entire squad with bare hands. "You should turn back," Goran warned. Aaron's voice stayed calm. "I think you should." Behind Goran, the other predators shifted. This was not going how they expected. The city council was watching from a high tower. Inside the chamber, voices argued. "Why did Goran hesitate? He's one of our best." "It's the human. There's something wrong with him." A thin, silver-skinned alien stepped forward. "I've seen this before," she said. "When humans don't speak, it's because they've already won." The council laughed. "Then we test him," one said. That night, a silent predator climbed the side of Aaron's building. A professional killer. It moved like smoke, entered through the window, and raised its blade over the sleeping human. But Aaron wasn't asleep. The killer didn't even see the strike. 1 second, the blade was high. The next, it was on the ground, and so was the predator. Gasping and paralyzed, Aaron stood beside the bed, holding a small knife. "You should have knocked," he said softly. The next morning, the council watched the security video. No one spoke for a full minute. "He didn't move," one whispered. "I didn't even see his hand." "That wasn't speed," said the silver-skinned alien. "That was control." News spread fast. Whispers in markets. Fear in strong voices. Some still laughed, but many locked their doors at night. Gorran returned to the council chamber. "I want answers," he said. "You saw it yourself," the silver-skinned one replied. "That human is something else." Goran slammed his fist on the table. "He's still just one. Then why didn't you kill him?" Goran went silent. Later that day, Aaron was invited to speak before the council. He came alone, as always. No guards, no weapons. They expected arrogance. What they saw was patience. Aaron placed a small black case on the table. He opened it slowly. Inside was a knife not large, not glowing, just simple, handmade. "This is what scares you." One council member laughed. Aaron nodded. "You misunderstand. This isn't just a blade. It's a symbol of what we are and what are you." Someone mocked. Aaron looked at each of them. "We are what comes after fear." That line hit hard. "You came here for peace?" Goran asked. "I came here for truth," Aaron replied. "Peace is only possible when fear is balanced." Goran stepped forward again. "Fight me now. Prove your strength." Aaron shook his head. "No, afraid. No," Aaron said. "I'm here to end fights, not start them, but just—" As Aaron turned to leave, a young predator leapt forward, furious, proud, and reckless. Blade high, screaming for blood, Aaron didn't turn. He just moved slightly one step, one motion. The predator dropped, unconscious, not dead, but defeated. Gasps echoed in the chamber. "That move," Goran said, shocked. Aaron looked at the young predator. "On the ground, you still have much to learn." The The next day, something strange happened. The predator, who first threatened Aragorn, appeared again, this time without his blade. He walked slowly up to the human in the square, knelt on one knee, and bowed his head. "I saw death once," he said, "but it wore your face." Aragorn didn't smile. He just placed a hand on Goran's shoulder and said, "Let's make sure no one sees that face again." And with that, the city changed. The council signed a pact with Earth. Predators returned, home with a new story. Not one of war, but of respect. Not fear of a weapon, but of a will stronger than any steel. And in every corner of the galaxy, when someone whispered about humans, they always said the same thing: don't fight them. Just don't. The city was no longer the same. The people still walked, traded, and talked, but something in the air had changed. It wasn't just about the human anymore, it was about what the human meant. The strongest predators now crossed the street when they saw Aragorn coming. Children whispered stories of him with wide eyes. Elders told each other to stay away, but Aragorn kept moving forward. He didn't smile, he didn't gloat. He simply walked with purpose, as if he knew exactly where he was going. Inside the Grand Council Hall, arguments echoed through the walls. "This is impossible," shouted one alien, his face red with rage. "One man is shaking an entire planet. He hasn't even attacked." "Anyone," another said. "That's what's terrifying." The silver-skinned counselor stood in the shadows. She had been quiet for days. Now she finally spoke. "He is not here for war, but he brings it with him." The others turned. "What does that mean?" one growled. She stepped forward. "He doesn't need an army. He is the warning. He's the knife placed gently on the table before the world is cut open." In the city's inner district, Aragorn met someone unexpected. A small creature followed him through the marketplace. It had no claws, no weapons, just large black eyes and quick feet. "I've been watching you," the creature said. Aragorn stopped. "And I want to know what you're really here for." Aragorn looked down at him. "Who are you?" "They call me Niv. I'm nobody important, but I know the city, and I know how to listen." Aragorn nodded, then listened closely. He leaned down and whispered something into Niv's ear. The little alien froze. His eyes widened. "You're serious?" Niv asked. "Yes." Niv looked around, then motioned for Aragorn to follow. "You need to see something." They moved through hidden paths between buildings and under the old ground tunnels. Niv finally stopped at a large steel door. "This isn't supposed to exist anymore," Niv said. "But it does." He opened the door. Inside was a secret war room. Holograms of Earth, blueprints of human ships, maps showing attack plans. "Preparing for war," Aragorn said calmly. Niv nodded. "Some of them don't trust peace. They think you're a trick, so they want to strike first." Aragorn walked around the room slowly. He stopped in front of a simulation showing a burning Earth. "City?" He didn't say a word, but his eyes darkened. "Will you stop them?" Niv asked. "I already have," Aragorn replied. How Aragorn pointed to the security camera in the corner. "Because now you showed this to me." Niv blinked. "Wait, was that the plan?" Aragorn gave a small smile. "You think you found me, but I led you here." Back at the council, the silver-skinned woman received a message. It was from her private network. "The human has discovered Facility 7. Her hands trembled. That facility was top secret. Only the highest-ranking leaders even knew of it. She stood quickly. "We need to speak with him now." An emergency meeting was called. The top military leaders, the council, and Aragorn were brought into the same room. "You found something you shouldn't have," a general said. Aragorn didn't respond. "We could consider this a hostile act," another warned, still silent. Goran entered, standing beside Aragorn. "Before you make threats, ask yourselves, why hasn't he already acted?" The room went quiet. Aragorn finally spoke. "Earth doesn't care about your weapons. We've faced extinction before. We don't fear it." "Then why are you here?" someone demanded. Aragorn walked to the center of the room. "I came because of what we found on your border worlds. The missing colonies, the experiments, the half-buried ruins." Everyone in the room stiffened. "You knew," Aragorn said, turning to the council leader. "You covered it up." The silver-skinned counselor stepped forward. "It wasn't our choice." Aragorn raised an eyebrow. "Then whose?" The room stayed silent. Aragorn turned to Goran. "You remember the stories of the old war?" I do, Goran said. The war no one won. The war that left scars across half the galaxy. Aaron nodded. The same ones are returning. The room broke into loud voices. Fear, denial, anger, impossible. They were wiped out. No one could survive that war. Aaron remained calm. They didn't survive, they evolved. Pulled out a small black cube and placed it on the table. A hologram flickered to life, an image of a dead colony. Alien bodies, burned ships, strange symbols carved into walls. The same patterns, the same weapons. Aaron said, they've returned, and they're testing your defenses. The council fell silent again. They wanted to see if you were still united, Aaron said. They wanted to know if you'd fight each other instead of them. Why are you warning us? One counselor asked. Aaron looked around. Because Earth remembers what they did. But how do we stop them? Another asked. Aaron's voice turned cold by not wasting time threatening each other. That night, another attack happened. A scout ship on the edge of the system went dark. No distress call, no wreckage, just gone. The council met again, this time without argument. They invited Aaron to speak freely. We need to prepare, he said. Together? But how can we trust each other? Someone asked. Aaron nodded. You can't unless someone takes the first step. Goran stood. Then let it be me. He placed his blade on the table and backed away. I feared him once, Goran said, pointing to Aaron. But now I fear what's coming more. Slowly, others followed. Counselors removed badges. Generals placed down weapons. For the first time in decades. They agreed on something. Aaron watched quietly. Niv stood at the edge of the room. Eyes wide. You changed them, he whispered. No, Aaron said. They changed themselves. I just reminded them why they had. 2. Outside, the stars shimmered. In the distance, something moved dark and massive. A ship unlike any other. It didn't come with a message. It didn't ask for peace, and it didn't care about fear. The predators of the galaxy had met their match in one human. But what was coming would test them all. Aaron stared into the night sky. They're coming, he whispered, and this time even he wasn't sure if humanity would survive. The dark ship drifted just outside sensor range. It was massive black as deep space and completely silent. No signals, no warnings, no response. Inside the alien council hall, panic had returned. This ship doesn't match anything in our database. One scientist shouted. It didn't appear on long-range scans, a general growled. It just showed up. Aaron stood behind them, arms folded. His voice was quiet, but it cut through the fear. They're here. Goran, standing beside him, clenched his jaw. You were right. I wish I wasn't, Aaron said. The council chamber was filled with tension. Some shouted for weapons. Others called for evacuation. We need to send a probe. No, Aaron said immediately. If you send anything, they'll take it as a threat. Another alien yelled. Aaron shook his head. Not yet, they're watching. They want to know if we're still broken. The room went silent. They're testing us, Aaron continued. They've always tested before attacking, and when we fight each other, they move in. Goran looked out the tall glass window at the star where the ship had appeared. Then what do? We wait, Aaron said, and we prepare quietly. The council was divided. Half wanted to arm their fleets and stand ready. The other half remembered Aaron's warning. If they looked like a threat, the enemy would strike first, strike hard. That night, Aaron walked the city alone again. But something was different. He wasn't just being watched, he was being followed. He turned a corner. The shadows shifted. A tall figure moved behind him. Aaron didn't stop walking. You've been behind me for 3 blocks, he said calmly. A predator stepped out from the darkness. Young, nervous, not like the others. His eyes weren't filled with pride, but fear. I need to talk to you, he stuttered. Aaron paused. Why are you following me? The young predator looked down. I saw the data from that black ship. I know the stories. My grandfather fought in the old war. He said the real enemy didn't talk. It just destroyed. Aaron's voice softened. Your grandfather was right. The young predator nodded. Then I want to help. I want to fight with you. Aaron looked him over carefully. What's your name? Carrick. You're brave, Carrick. But this fight won't be like the ones your people know. I know, Carrick said. But I'd rather stand beside someone like you than hide behind council walls. Aaron smiled faintly. Then follow me. Back inside the city's underground command center, the silver-skinned counselor was running simulations. She paused when Aaron entered with Carrick. You brought a child to a war room, she asked. He brought himself, Aaron replied. Carrick stood taller. I want to help. The counselor raised an eyebrow. And what will you do, child? Carrick stared at the screen. I know old code systems. My grandfather showed me the ones from the war. Give him a chance. She sighed, but nodded. They began. Studying the black ship again, no one could find an entrance. No visible weapons. It just floated, waiting. But then something changed. Carrick leaned forward. That signal there. It's pulsing every 8 seconds. It's not a system glitch. He typed fast, his claws tapping the panel. Suddenly, the signal became clear. It was a pattern ancient, forgotten, but real. It's the same signal from the old war, Carrick said. They're not just watching, they're scanning us. The counselor froze. They're counting our defenses. Aaron looked at the display. Then we need to lie to them. For the next 2 days, Aaron worked with the council to fake their military strength. They lit up old defense towers, moved empty ships in formation, even broadcasted fake troop numbers. They'll think twice. It didn't react. It just stayed there, watching. Then. On the third night, it sent something. A small orb. It floated slowly toward the planet, too fast to catch, too small to shoot. We can't stop it, said a general. It's already here. The orb landed in the city center. Everyone kept their distance. Soldiers surrounded it. Then it opened. There was no explosion. The room grew cold. What does it mean? Someone asked. Aaron's face turned pale. They're saying we're not even worth conquering, just erasing. Suddenly, sirens screamed across the city. The sky burned red. More ships had arrived, silent, dark, massive. Not just one, hundreds. The city shook. Lights flickered. Communications died. Aaron turned to the counselor. It's starting. She grabbed his arm. What do we do now? Aaron looked out the window, his jaw tight. Now we survive. The first strike hit the outer districts. No sound, just sudden silence. Buildings vanished. Streets turned to dust. Aaron, Carrick, and Goran rushed toward the shield control towers. We can't stop them, shouted a technician. We're not trying to stop them, Aaron said. We're buying time. Time for what? Carrick asked. Aaron opened his comlink and sent a signal far across the stars. On the edge of human space, a dormant satellite received his message. Earth's systems lit up. Aaron spoke clearly into the link. They've returned. Engage protocol Iron Shadow. On Earth, alarms rang. Human warfleets, hidden for decades, began to move back in the alien city. Aaron looked at Carrick and Goran. Help is coming, he said. But will it be enough? Carrick asked. Aaron didn't answer. The black ships descended, but for the first time, the predators stood together, and the human they once feared was now the one they followed into battle. The sky over the alien city turned black. The enemy ships silent and massive covered the light. No engines roared, no weapons flashed, but people felt the danger deep inside their bones. Inside the shield control tower, Aaron stood still, staring at the sky. Goran turned to him. How many do you think they sent? Aaron didn't blink. Too many. Carrick checked the system panel. Shields are holding, but the outer regions are gone, just wiped out. Aaron spoke calmly, but his words carried weight. They're not conquering. They're erasing history. The silver-skinned counselor entered the room, her face pale. They've blocked all outgoing signals. We can't call for help anymore. You don't have to, Aaron said. I already did. She narrowed her eyes. To whom? Aaron looked her in the eye. To Earth. A heavy silence filled the room. Outside, small black drones fell from the enemy ships. They moved like falling ash. They weren't bombs but sensors. They were learning, copying, scanning. Every movement, every voice, every defense system was being studied. They're collecting everything, Carrick whispered, like they did in the last war. And when they're done, Aaron said, they'll shut us off forever. Suddenly, the building shook. Lights flickered. Dust fell from the ceiling. Goran steadied himself. What was that? The Found the shield core, Carrick said, checking the data. They're targeting weak points. They're not just guessing, Aaron muttered. They already know where to hit. How? The counselor asked. Aaron paused, because someone told them. Everyone turned. Someone here, Goran growled. Aaron nodded. They couldn't get that intel from orbit. Someone on this planet is feeding them data. The silver-skinned counselor stepped back. A traitor, or a coward, Aaron said, maybe both. Suddenly, a warning flashed across the screen. Shield Zone 9 is failing, Carrick shouted. I'll go, Goran said. Aaron grabbed his arm. You can't hold that zone alone. I won't be alone, Goran said. You trained me for this. Aaron gave a single nod. Goran ran out the door. Minutes later, Zone 9's shield surged back to life. Aaron turned back to the counselor. I need access to your archives. Why? She asked. To find the traitor. She hesitated. That data is locked. Only council heads can access it. Aaron stepped closer. Then unlock it. Now, she didn't argue again. Inside the archives, thousands of files blinked across the screens. Aaron worked fast, scanning activity logs, transmissions, and ship movements. He stopped when one file opened on its own. A single name flashed. Jorax. The silver-skinned counselor gasped. No, that's not possible. He died years ago. Aaron looked at her. Then why is he still sending signals to deep space? He played a recording, a voice, low, broken, familiar. We failed once. I will not fail again. The humans ended. Us before. This time, I stand with the future. Aaron's eyes narrowed. He used to be your general, didn't he? She nodded slowly. He vanished after the last battle. We assumed he was dead. He wasn't, Aaron said. He switched sides. But why would he betray us to them? Aaron stared at the screen. Because fear turns strong men into monsters. Another blast shook the building. Carrick shouted from down the hall. Enemy drones breaching through Sector C. Aaron ran, drawing a small black blade from his jacket. No lasers, no armor, just steel and skill. He reached Sector C in seconds. 3 black drones hovered silently, scanning the walls. One turned toward him. It launched. Aaron sidestepped, grabbed it midair, slammed it into the wall, and stabbed it once. Sparks flew. It dropped lifeless. The others attacked fast. Carrick joined him, swinging a metal pipe, knocking one drone back. Aaron threw his blade like a bullet. It spun through the air and struck the last drone dead center. Silence returned. Carrick caught his breath. Are you some kind of weapon? Aaron smiled faintly. I'm what they fear will survive. Outside the city, the enemy ships were on the move. They began to lower, slowly descending, toward the capital. The time is up, the silver-skinned counselor said. We have nothing left. Aaron didn't answer. He simply walked to the roof. Wind blew across his face. The black sky stretched. Above him, enemy ships now close enough to see their markings, strange, twisted symbols of a forgotten war. He took a deep breath and tapped his wrist. A small green light blinked back on Earth. Far beyond the stars, a massive signal activated. Buried deep under the surface, an ancient fleet rose. Hidden for decades, built for only one reason: to end the war that never finished. Signal confirmed. Came a robotic voice from Aaron's communicator. Iron Shadow engaged. ATA, 27 minutes. Aaron closed his eyes. Hold the line, he whispered. In the city below, citizens were being moved into bunkers. Shield towers continued to flicker, but the people no longer screamed. They saw something new. Predators stood beside humans. Hunters guarded civilians. And in the skies, a distant glimmer appeared small. At first, then brighter, Carrick pointed upward. What is that? Aaron smiled. Hope. A swarm of Earth ships entered the system fast, silent, powerful. Sleek black holes cut through space like knives. Their engines didn't hum. They roared. Some stayed. Then Earth opened fire. Lasers rained like fire from the sky. Earth's fleet didn't wait. It didn't speak. It struck. The battle began. Aaron turned to the counselor. Tell your forces. Join the fight, now. We'll follow you, she said. No, Aaron replied. You fight for your people. I'll fight for mine. He ran toward the front lines. Carrick followed, eyes wide but steady. The enemy had the numbers. But Earth had raged, and now the galaxy had a reason to believe again. The Predator stood in the center of the ruined plaza, its long blade humming softly in its hand. Smoke curled in the air. Broken banners and shattered glass lay all around. Its glowing eyes scanned the crowd of terrified aliens. But it didn't strike. Something had stopped it. Near the back of the crowd, one figure didn't move, didn't tremble, didn't show fear. A human. The Predator tilted its head, confused. Its database flickered. No record showed this face, yet the energy signature was unmistakably human. Why wasn't this one afraid? Target identified, whispered the Predator's armor. But the Predator didn't act. The human stepped forward slowly, calmly. No weapon, no armor, just a black jacket and scarred boots. The crowd parted in silence, unsure what they were. "Witnessing you're not supposed to be here," the Predator growled, blade tightening in its grip. "Earth signed the surrender." The human smiled faintly. Earth lied. Before the Predator could react, the human moved. Faster than any creature it had ever faced. One step, then another. Then suddenly, the human was in front of it. The Predator slashed, but the blade hit nothing. The human had vanished only to reappear behind the Predator. A pressure point strike. The Predator stumbled forward, eyes wide. It had trained for decades. It had hunted on 5 planets, but it had never been touched like that. "What do you?" it hissed, voice shaking. The human didn't answer. Instead, he reached into his coat hand, pulled out something small, a device, no bigger than a coin. He dropped it at the Predator's feet. The ground under them shimmered. The plaza disappeared. Suddenly, they were alone in a dark chamber deep underground. Surveillance gone. No escape. The Predator's armor flickered, confused. "I know your mission," the human said coldly. "You weren't just here to kill. You were here to send a message." "I am the message," the Predator spat. The human smiled darkly. "Not anymore." The Predator lunged again, but this time it was ready to kill. Its blade swung in a deadly arc butt again. The human dodged with inhuman precision. This wasn't just training. This was something else. "You're enhanced," the Predator growled. "No," the human replied. "I'm angry." Their fight exploded in brutal, fast strikes. The Predator used every technique it had: learned claws, blade, shoulder mount, darts, but the human countered each one with brutal, efficient moves. Bone cracked, blood sprayed, sparks lit the chamber walls. The Predator fell to one knee. "I studied your kind," the human said, walking slowly. "You hunt, you scare. You kill for sport. You're the same." The Predator coughed. "No," the human whispered. "We fight to protect, and we don't forget." He raised his hand. The coin-sized device floated back up and glowed bright red. "You bombed Nova Station. My family was there. This," he pointed to the Predator's wounds, "is justice." "Then, kill me," the Predator snarled, but the human shook his head. "No, I want your empire to know this. Earth is watching. We're in your systems, in your shadows. And when the next Predator draws its blade, it should remember." He leaned closer. "We see you first." With a flash of light, the device beeped and the Predator disappeared. Transported back to his mothership, bloody broken, defeated. Silence returned. The human walked out of the dark chamber, vanishing into the shadows and across the galaxy. The Predators rewrote their threat database with one word added: human. The Predator moved faster now. It wasn't hunting anymore. It was running from the image. Stuck in its mind, the human who had locked eyes with it, that one look had stopped the Predator's hand mid-swing. It hadn't even understood why. All it knew was that fear pure and real had touched its alien heart. Its claws clicked on the stone floor of the Undercity as it moved through steam, shadows, and slums. Above, the galaxy's rulers watched from their golden towers. Down here, the forgotten crawled. And somewhere behind it, the human was coming. 2 levels above, the human agent called Cass stood still. Her face was calm, but inside, her thoughts raced like fire. "They always run," she whispered to her. "Come. And they always leave a trail." She turned sharply and disappeared into the smoke-filled market. Behind her, the Galactic peacekeepers were still shouting about some rogue alien threat. Useless. They hadn't even seen what she saw. The predator wasn't just any alien. It was a Serac bladeborn, a species bred to hunt, programmed to kill, built for speed, power, silence. But even the bladeborn had limits. Cass had found them before, and she would again. The predator, bleeding slightly from its left arm, ducked into a rusted chamber beneath the city. It had once been a hydrocore room, but now it was a broken maze of pipes and dark tunnels. It pressed its back against a wall, breathing hard, its ears twitching. Why had it stopped? Why had it frozen? Why couldn't it kill her? "Control," it said in its native tongue. "This is Unit 7X. Target has changed. Error in neural response. Possible exposure to unknown variable." There was static, then a voice. "Clarify. Did the human disable you?" "No," the predator growled. She looked at me. There was a long pause on the line, then returned to base. But it didn't move. Something in its muscles resisted. The thought of facing her again made its claws twitch, not with rage, but with doubt. Back on the surface, Cass had traced its path, a trail of wet footprints, a smell of burnt metal, a piece of scale caught on a sharp corner. She touched it. "Still warm, 5 minutes ahead," she whispered. She moved faster now. Every step was precise. She ignored the vendors, the smells, the noise. Her eyes were locked forward. Her target was close and cornered, but Cass also felt something else. The predator wasn't just dangerous. It was confused, scared. Why, her boots clicked on metal as she stepped into the old hydrocore chamber. And then everything went silent. The predator heard her before he saw her. A soft click. A pause. She was here. He melted deeper into the shadows, becoming almost invisible. The perfect killer. Yet his heart was pounding. Strange memories flooded his mind, not from his life, not from his training, but from her eyes. He saw Earth. He saw pain, he saw war, and he saw something else. Hope. That made no sense. Why would a human's gaze make him see hope? Cass moved carefully. Her fingers brushed the hilt of her sidearm, but she didn't draw it. "Sarek," she said softly. "You've been seen." No answer. She stepped into the center of the room. "You were trained to be a perfect predator, to kill anything that breathes. But you stopped. You saw something. What was it?" A sound behind her. She turned to slow. The predator struck, but it didn't aim for her throat or heart. It struck the wall beside her, letting sparks fly, and stopped. Their eyes met again. "You're not here to kill," Cass said calmly. "You shouldn't exist," the predator replied in broken common tongue. "You're a variable." Cass blinked. "You're speaking. I wasn't allowed to." "Then why now?" The predator's claws flexed. "Because you made me remember something I never knew." Cass took a slow step forward. "Then you're waking up." "Waking," it hissed. "Yes, waking from their control." The silence hung heavy. Then the predator shook its head. "I should end you, but I can't. You won't." The predator stared at her. Cass slowly extended her hand. "Come with me. I can help you remember who you really are." "I was made to destroy," the predator said. "Then maybe it's time to be unmade." From the shadows above, a drone blinked, a silent observer. The real mission wasn't to stop the predator. It was to see what would happen when a human faced a perfect killer. The watchers had their answer, and now they were afraid, because the predator had not just failed, it had changed, and the change had started with one human, one look, one variable, that could break the code of control, and now the real hunt would begin. Not for the predator, but for the human who stopped it. The alien predator stepped onto the blood-stained floor of the Colosseum. Its armor was dark as space, and the blade in its hand hummed with a deep, vibrating power. It was silent. The crowd of species from across the galaxy held their breath. On a raised platform, the High Lords watched with interest. They had seen this predator kill 10 warriors without breaking a sweat. Now, they wanted more. The announcer's voice echoed. "Next challenger, Earth's species human." A low laugh spread through the crowd. Humans were rare and weak, they believed. The predator tilted its head, blade ready. Then the doors opened, and the human walked in. He wasn't tall. His armor was simple. His face calm, but his eyes were cold. The predator moved slightly. Its blade raised. It scanned the crowd one last time, as if making sure this wasn't a joke. Then, it froze. The human didn't stop walking. "You're afraid, the human?" said voice, calm but sharp. "You've seen something. Something you remember." The predator stepped back, just once. Gasps filled the Colosseum. The High Lords leaned forward. "What is this?" one whispered. A whisper spread among the alien crowd, something ancient, long forgotten. The predator suddenly growled, louder than before. It struck first. A blur of dark metal sliced the air. The human dodged, just half an inch. Then he countered fast, controlled. His hand slammed into the predator's wrist, twisting it. The blade fell. In one smooth move, the human kicked it aside and stepped in close. "Your kind fought us before," he said. "You lost." The predator roared again, claws slashing. The human ducked, rolled forward, then turned and stood straight behind the predator. His foot swept out. The predator dropped to one knee. A memory returned in the alien's mind flashes of fire, of cities falling, of humans moving like ghosts through smoke. Unstoppable. The predator screamed in its own language, "You're not supposed to be here." The human didn't answer. He just walked toward the predator, slow and steady. "Why did you freeze when you saw me?" he asked. The predator didn't respond. Its breathing was heavy now. "You remember Earth's retaliation," the human continued. "You were there. You saw what we did to your world." The crowd was silent. A child alien in the stands whispered, "Is that true?" The predator dropped its head. Slowly, it raised its hands in surrender. Its blade lay forgotten on the floor. The announcer hesitated. "Match over." The High Lords were speechless. The human turned to face the audience. "Next time," he said, "don't send monsters." And with that, he walked out, leaving the predator kneeling in defeat. But as he left, a silent message was received by the High Lord's private Kumsa report from a scout ship. Human fleets were on the move. Smoke still rose from the ruined plaza. Bits of glass shimmered on the stone floor. Sirens echoed through the damaged city center. But amid all this chaos, the real danger had only just begun. Captain Relock, the alien predator, stood on the edge. Of the ruins, his blade still pulsed with the heat of its last strike. He had cut down 3 armored guards like they were nothing. Each kill had been clean, efficient just the way he'd been trained. He was the hunter. Always but today. Something had changed. He scanned the crowd once more. Citizens cowered behind debris. Some hid in shuttle wrecks. Others dared not move. Their fear gave him power, until he saw her again. The human, still standing, still calm. Unarmed, her eyes met his. No panic, no shaking, just stillness. Relaxed grip tightened around his blade. His neural implant flared red with alarm. His instincts screamed at him. "Run!" He ignored the command. Predators don't run, but his hand shook. This was no ordinary human who... "Are you?" he growled in Galactic Standard. The human stepped forward. Dust clung to her jacket. Her hair was messy, burnt on one side, but her voice was strong. "You can call me Sarah." He felt that name punch through his memory. That name had been marked years ago on classified files, on warning documents from deep within the Zarkon War archives. Sarah Doten, Unit, Human Special Operations. Status, terminated. "No, wait, missing. You died," he said, half to himself. She tilted her head. "No, I disappeared. You were supposed to forget me." He stepped back. That wasn't normal. He never stepped back, but the memory hit him harder than he expected. Project Ghost, a human experiment. Creating soldiers so silent even Predator tech couldn't trace them. And now she was here, alive, watching him. "I came to warn your kind," she said. "You wanted war. You wanted to test humanity's limits." He raised the blade again, but slower this time. "And what? You're here to beg?" Sarah's eyes flashed with something deeper: grief, rage, and resolve, all at once. "No, I'm here to finish what we started." With a flick of her wrist, something on her belt activated. Relax's HUD blinked red. A dozen beacons lit up across the city map. "Strike teams," he muttered. From the rooftops, shapes moved, fast, silent. Then the first predator dropped, shot, clean through the chest with a sonic blade. Rillick turned, stunned, as the humans came down like shadows. Their armor wasn't visible. Their weapons didn't register. These weren't normal soldiers, these were ghosts. The ghost team was real, and they were already in position. "Stand down," he shouted into his comms. "It's a trap." But there was only static. Sarah looked up too late. "You drew your blade. You thought we were still the same." And then, with speed no predator had ever recorded from a human, she vanished from his sight. 1 second she was in front of him, the next, sharp pain tore through his leg. He dropped to one knee. She appeared behind him, breathing calmly. "You should have run when you had the chance," she said. He swung wildly, blade singing through air. But she was already gone again. Around him, more predators fell. He reached for his wrist beacon and emergency warp-out. But Sarah crushed it under her boot before he could activate it. Relok stared up at her. "What are you?" She leaned down close. "Just the warning," she whispered. A moment later, the sonic pulse hit his skull. Blackness followed. Sarah stood tall as her team regrouped. The city wasn't theirs yet, but the message had been sent. Predators thought they ruled the hunt. They were wrong. The predator stood still. Its blade was still halfway out of its armor sheath, glowing with cold blue light. Its eyes moved slowly, scanning the frightened crowd. No one dared to speak. No one dared to breathe, except the human Jackson. He didn't move, didn't flinch. His arms were crossed, his stare locked directly on the predator's glowing eyes. The predator took one step back. The crowd noticed it. That single backward step changed everything. From fear to confusion, from confusion to silence, and then whispers. Did it just step back? Why is it afraid? Jackson didn't blink. "You remember me, don't you?" His voice echoed in the stillness. The predator lowered its blade a little, memories flashing red. Alarms, screams. The last time it saw this human, it was in flames, not fear, not surrender. Rage. The human had been inside their base, alone, outnumbered, surrounded by elite hunters, and still he walked out alive with the predator. Commander's mask in his hand. "You shouldn't have come back," the predator said at last. Its voice was harsh, broken. "You are marked." Jackson gave a dry smile. "So are you." Suddenly, his jacket beeped once. A signal. Behind him, the walls of the hall shifted. Metal panels moved from the shadows. Shapes appeared tall, armored, figures silent, not human, predators, but they stood behind Jackson. Everyone gasped. Impossible. Someone whispered, "He's not alone." The predator in front of him realized it too. Its kind were not here to fight Jackson. They were here to follow him. The crowd didn't understand, but the predator did. "You've made a pact with the broken claws," it asked, disbelief in every word. "They made a choice," Jackson replied. "Your kind hunted humans like prey. But not all of you agreed." He turned slightly, just enough to show the scar on his neck. "A young warrior let me live," Jackson said, "told me not all predators were killers." The crowd was silent. The other predators behind him lowered their weapons. One of them stepped forward, placing something at Jackson's feet. A helmet, the helmet of the very predator he now faced. The predator growled, "You desecrate our traditions." "No," Jackson said quietly. "I've rewritten them." In the distance, alarms began to scream. The predator's backup had arrived. Heavy footsteps thundered down the corridors. More predators, fully armed, but Jackson didn't move. Neither did his new allies. A war was about to begin inside that hall. "You can walk away," Jackson said, "or fight hand fall." The predator gripped its blade tightly. Its pride screamed for battle, but its instinct whispered caution. This human had changed everything. The first time they faced him, he was alone. This time, he had an army. The predator turned away. Everyone watched in silence as it left the hall. Jackson finally exhaled. He looked at the crowd. "Anyone else have a problem with humans?" No one answered. The broken silence turned into respect. Fear had shifted now. It belonged to those who underestimated the human, and the predators who now followed him. The moment was tense. All eyes were on the predator. Its blade gleamed under the arena lights, long and curved like a scythe. The alien crowd roared in excitement, waiting to see another easy kill. Many had seen this predator before. It never lost. The human stood at the edge of the arenacom, silent, still. General Kale watched from the high seats, arms crossed. "Why did we send him?" he muttered. "Because he volunteered," the human ambassador replied. "And because you wanted to see what one human could really do." Down below, the predator moved slowly, circling. It scanned the human with glowing yellow eyes. But something felt wrong. The human did not flinch. He didn't even blink. The predator bared its teeth. "Are you broken?" it hissed. "Or just foolish?" The human gave no answer. Then the predator charged. It moved fast, faster than any human should be able to react. Its blade came down in a wide arc, meant to end this with one strike. But the human sidestepped just half a second before contact. The blade sliced through air. The predator spun, surprised. The human finally spoke. "You missed." The crowd went silent. Nobody had ever said that to the predator. It growled and attacked again, this time with a quick slash at the human's side. Again, the human dodged. Then again and again. Each movement was just enough. "Who trained you?" the predator demanded. Anger building. "You move like no human." "No one trained me," the human said. "I watched you, what I've studied every fight you've ever had. Your strikes, your mistakes, your patterns, you're fast, but not perfect." The predator's eye twitched. The human stepped closer, hands still empty. "You rely on fear. You expect your opponent to panic. That's your first weakness." "Enough," the predator roared. "Fight me." "You're already losing," the human said. And then he moved. No weapons, just his hands. But the human struck with speed the predator didn't expect. A sharp blow to the knife into the jaw. The predator stumbled. "Second weakness," the human whispered. "You're not used to pain." A final blow sent the predator to the ground, blade clattering beside it. Gasps filled the arena for the first time ever. The predator was flat on its back, defeated. The human picked up the alien blade. He looked at it, then tossed it aside. He turned to the crowd. "Is this your champion?" No one answered. General Kale stared, stunned. "That wasn't luck." "No," the ambassador said. "That was preparation." Back in the arena, the predator struggled to stand. It looked up at the human. "Kill me. That's what your kind does, right?" The human leaned down. Wrong again. Then he walked away. The predator didn't move. It stayed on its knees, breathing heavily. Eyes wide, it had seen something. Something deep in the human's eyes. Not hate, not pride. Something older. Something dangerous. Back in the viewing room, Kale turned to the ambassador. "What is he?" The ambassador gave a small smile. "Just a man. One who studied. One who listened. And one who knew when not to kill." The predator would never forget that look. Not because it lost, but because for the first time in its life, it had been afraid. And it wasn't of the blade, it was of the human holding nothing at all.